Camera number 80 of 365, and it's the Yashica 108 multi-program camera. It takes the Contax Yashica mount lens, and to take the lens off we depress the lens release and rotate the lens thus. On the other side of the lens mount we have exposure compensation of plus 1.5. Now the camera requires 4 AAA batteries, and we put them in thus. Now this camera has a bit of a history. I've detailed it on my blog, arhphotographic.co.uk, just last week, and detailed how this camera wasn't working because there was a serious corrosion problem around the top here, where batteries had obviously been left and they'd leaked, and the handle was getting very hot and nothing was happening, so I assumed there was a short going on. So the blog details how I took basically this part of the camera off, cleaned it, and the camera does seem to work, although it is temperamental. So the batteries are in. Will it work? No. So clearly I've got a little bit of work to do there. There we go. So I may have to just give them another wipe to get them going fully, but when I took it out it did work. So on the left hand side here we have self-timer and button at the top, and the light that illuminates telling us that it's working. It's about 10 seconds. It does seem a long 10 seconds, mind, but there we go. And that's it as far as the front goes. So let's just put the lens back on. I can find the red dot. There we go. On the top of the camera we have our film rewind crank. Around the base of the crank is our options to choose continuous or single release. So there's single release, and there's continuous release. Film door release, and it's DX coding only, but of course because we can go into manual mode, we can obviously override that if we wanted to. Shows that the wind on, which is motor driven obviously, the winds on the film. We have shutter speeds from 2000 right the way down to B, and flash, which are manual modes. The indication through the viewfinder is basically just a green illuminated light that tells us that our exposure is correct. If it's not, it will flash, and if it's really not, then the flash button or flash light will illuminate, telling us that we should put a flash. We also have program mode, where the camera will make all the decisions, and high program mode, indicating that the camera will choose higher shutter speeds, and then aperture priority mode. Film indicator, or yes, film indicator. So there we go. On the other side, beg your pardon, a release. It's not a cable release, unfortunately. It's an battery powered cable release there. Okay, film on the base, film release, so that we can rewind our film. So it's a nice little camera. I'm pleased I've resurrected it from the dead, but it does still have a little bit of work to be done on it. But nonetheless, this is camera number 80 of 365.